Well, this is just a wee follow on to a video the other day about us being in Bexhill and why we were there. And I told you about my very good friend Billy. And I said in the little video that I'd say more about that later. And that was to explain to you who Billy is and how I came to know him. Billy is affectionately known by me and all my friends that know him and our family as Blind Billy, the golfer. And this is some story. We'll start where it all began, and that was around about, Billy tells me it was 2014, no, not 2010, he said 14 years ago when we first met. And back in 2010, I was or not but I was a member of an association known as the Motor Accident Solicitors Society. And I'm told that their inaugural meeting, when they got together, they decided they were going to call themselves the Personal Injury Solicitor Society until somebody figured out what that acronym would sound like. So anyway, it became Mass. Nothing to do with the Catholic Mass, but often referred to whenever we would tell people we were members of Mass. That's the Motor Accident Solicitor Society, which I one time was chairman back in the mid-90s. And anyway, we had this tradition in Mass of having an annual golf day, and it was held for a number of years in the home of the Bard in Stratford-upon-Avon, a beautiful hotel there called the Welcome Hotel. If you're ever there, it's well worth a visit, and it's a beautiful golf course. And anyway, on this particular year, it was, obviously as Billy reminds me now, it was 2010, I and my friends were setting out to play in the golf tournament, and we got to the first hole, and we had a starter. There's always a starter at these tournaments who runs the golf course and makes sure everybody tees off at the correct and proper time. And as we looked up the fairway of the first hole, we saw 4 buggies. That's quite unusual. If you're a golfer, you'll know. You only usually will see 2 buggies ahead of you on the fairway. And we said to the starter, well, what's going on here? And he said, oh, those are your disabled golfers. And that's, I can tell you now, the chosen charity for that year was the Disabled Golfers Society of Great Britain. And he went on to explain that the guy in the first buggy, he has 1 leg. The guy in the second buggy, he suffers from multiple sclerosis, and his wife has to stand behind him and hold him up straight as he swings the club. Then, in the next buggy, there's a veteran from Afghanistan who, he's also 1 leg, but he has a prosthetic leg on the other. And in the fourth buggy, there's a blind man. And you can imagine as we turned to one another and we exclaimed, oh my God, a society golf day is a very long day. But my God, this is going to be the longest day ever we're going to have. So anyway, they cleared the first hole, and we set about our task of playing behind them. And would you believe it? We didn't catch up with them for 5 holes. They were way ahead of us. We were the dawdlers, and we eventually met them on the 5th hole. And for those who are non-golfers, I have to explain this bit. In these golf tournaments and competitions, you have a thing, in the charity golf days, you have a thing called Beat the Pro. And it's another occasion to raise a bit of money. And everybody throws a tenner in, and what happens is you're on a par 3, the smallest distance and way of a hole. So most people will hit that green in 1 shot. So what happens is the pro, he hits his shot and everybody has to follow suit and see if you do better than him, well, you win your prize. If not, the charity keeps your £10. So, in the event, we bumped into all the disabled golfers who were on this fifth tee, and they were actually waiting for the people in front of them to clear, so we had time to have a little bit of a chat. And I said to the guy with one leg, I said, "Excuse me, but how on earth can you hit a golf ball with just standing on one leg?" To which he called over his caddy, and he threw him his crutches and said, "Give me my driver." And he proceeded to describe to us this perfect, absolutely perfect swing. Now, we didn't see him hit the ball at that side. We saw him hit the ball onto the green eventually. But we were standing amazed. And I just describe it, we say in Ireland here, we call it a heron crane. Just a crane or a heron, we call it a heron crane. And it's just, I remember standing at Newry Canal one day with the wind howling down the canal and this heron standing on one leg and not budging 1 centimetre, right? And this guy was just exactly the same. And he swung this club like you've never seen the like of. And anyway, when it came to the playing of the ball later on, I think he probably did hit the green. I can't remember that exactly. But as I was going and talking to the various golfers, disabled golfers, this little Northern Ireland voice came from one of the buggies, and he said, "Oh, I'd know that accent anywhere." And to which I replied, "And I'd know that accent too." And at that I went across to see Billy, and Billy was the blind golfer. Now, I don't know, but Billy is an extremely how do we describe it? It's unusual, because when we think of someone blind, we think when you go up to look at them eye to eye, that there's generally some evidence of the blindness within the pupils of their eyes or whatever. But Billy is just perfect eyes, absolutely perfect. So I just didn't catch on for a while that he was actually the blind golfer, but discovered that he was, and then he went on to hit his ball onto the green. And he did it with aplomb. Somebody just sets the ball down, sets a club for him, and he hits the ball. It's onto the green. So anyway, these were, I think, fairly early days of Billy's golfing prowess. He'd never played golf in his life before until he became blind. And he became blind as a result of his retinas detaching one night when he was asleep, and rather unusually that both eyes detached the same night, and both retinas detached the same night, and he woke up totally blind and never played golf in his life, become very depressed at times, and his wife suggested to him, maybe you want to take up golf, because she'd come across blind golfing. And he did. He took up playing golf, and since then he's actually one of the leading blind golfers in the world. Never mind in UK, Europe, whatever. I think he's somewhere like third or something in the world. And I think when he describes to you how the handicap system works across the different associations, he's actually probably the best. But in any event, that's how I met Billy. And we went on after that momentous awakening or meeting to become really good friends over the past 14 years. And he's been back and forward from thing, and I've been back and forward with him. And he got remarried, as I say, on that day I was doing that little video on the Tuesday. We went over to Bexhill, and his wife organised this wonderful, innovative initiative at the wedding feast that evening in the local golf club. And it was her own idea, apparently, to come up with an envelope on every table, and when you dipped into the envelope, you come up with a label, and you put it on you, and your label was, either you were some relation, you were the the father of the bride, father of the groom, bridesmaids, ushers, whatever. And so I reckon it was fixed, but I ended up as best man. So I had to make the speech, and God, it was great crack making the speech. But one of the stories that I forgot to tell was Billy and I were in Fortnum and Mason one thing, because I used to love going to the gallery and over the road and telling Billy what the paintings looked like, whatever, not the National Galleries, the Royal Society, or whatever it was. And we would go there and I would explain the paintings and stuff to Billy, and then we'd go across the road to Fortnum and Mason for lunch. And we'd be sitting there, and the table we were assigned that particular day was beside the bar. And Billy was sitting beside me, we were sitting beside the bar, and these people were coming in waiting for their tables. And there were these young couples and very lovely people, whatever. And Billy, at one stage, I had to say to him, because he's got these most perfect eyes, and you wouldn't know that he was blind. And I said, Billy, if you don't stop looking at that girl's backside, the boyfriend's going to come over and beat the crap out of you. So Billy promptly turned the other way, and we avoided any controversy. But yeah, it was a wonderful time that I had on Tuesday over there in Bexhill, where Billy's now living with his lovely wife Lisa, and it's Lisa. It's not Lisa. She's originally, her mum's from Finland, and she's a Finnish form of Lisa, and he's a very lucky man because he's now married to Lisa, and they both are very happily ensconced in Bexhill, which is a lovely, lovely town, and I'll not have anything bad said about it, even though from my last video I've heard it's now also been described as God's, that's a dyslexic moment there, God's waiting room, and the other one was Town of the Walking Dead. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that as another little add-on to my ramblings there. God bless everybody.